It never really occurred to me that my wife and I would have trouble conceiving.
Didn't even cross our minds in the slightest.
Having a child was the next logical step. I didn't want to accept it at first.
I felt like it was my fault.
It hit me like a wrecking ball all at once, all the emotions all at once.
Infertility is so emasculating.
It's made me more aware of how I feel about what's important to me.
I think I tried to escape from it a little bit. I suppose, buried my head in the sand and thought, it'll happen.
I probably, like most men, didn't want any help, didn't want it, couldn't accept any help.
Probably didn't cope very well with it, just buried it down, I think.
I can't think of one aspect of my life that's the same now as it was before the diagnosis.
Men are as much part of this as well. Why don't we say something?
Can you remember how to do one of these?
Nope. Let's just go for it.
Hello, and welcome to what I guess we are calling Season 2 of Have You Seen? After an extraordinarily long Season 1 of 135 episodes, we are now doing Season 2, and as you can see, for some reason, we have cameras. I don't know if this video will ever see the light of day, but we decided to record this. I am still Kieran Lefort, somewhere in South London, and the other shot you're about to see is Tom Webb, who is in deepest, darkest Essex still.
Yeah, somewhere in Essex.
Although a different house.
Yes.
Yeah. So our last episode was released to the public. Well, no, hang on. It was recorded on January 2017. So episode 134 went out on Christmas Day, I think, 2016. And then we did 135, which was No Holds Barred. And that was we recorded that in January 2017, and I think I finally released that in May 2020.
Yeah.
So has anything happened in the past 3 years?
A fair amount, wouldn't you say?
I mean, I've been through 2 jobs, 3 flats and a girlfriend. How about you?
Well, I think my daughter was born in November 2016, so that had just happened when we recorded the last shows. And since then, I've done a couple of office moves, house move, made a documentary, the usual stuff, really.
Yeah, what everybody's been doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the reasons we haven't done any of this is that we don't work together anymore. We haven't worked together for 18 months now. And I think we've only seen each other once since then, maybe twice. Where I came to the
you came for
screening.
lunch, and then but we had lunch,
the lunch,
didn't we?
yeah.
And then
that's right.
We went to the screening of the Easy Bit, didn't we? So at Raindales. So that was the last time we saw each other. So that was September 2019.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would you like to plug the hell out of your documentary now, or do you want to save it till the end?
We'll save it to the end.
Okay.
Or I could do it now.
What are kind of the reasons behind getting back into doing this? I mean, this is exactly what the world needs right now, 2 40-year-old white men with a podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, clearly. It's just what everyone's been begging for, really. I think, the overwhelming response
the 3 people who hit like when I put a picture of a zombie hand coming out of a grave on Twitter. And that was just because I was trying to upload the archive because our old iTunes feed went down. Our old host just disappeared and took with it everything. Yeah. And as I've mentioned on Twitter and on Facebook and on the website, we don't actually have a complete collection. There is a page on the website that lists everything we are missing. But yeah, it amounts to about 25 episodes that we just do not have copies of. And I was just trying to get everything back online. And then the idea came, it's like, why don't we do some more?
I mean, we've been crazy busy. Like we just, and we just haven't really had time. And now, what with the coronavirus and lockdown,
Yeah, we should say we are at
A little bit more
recording. It is June 2020, and officially the country is still on lockdown. Although apparently I could be your single person in a coronavirus bubble if you really wanted.
That's true. You could
But it's
be.
highly unlikely that I'm going to make the 6-hour round trip to come and see you.
No, fair enough. Yeah, God knows what's going on with these rules. But yeah, we've been locked down since March, so it's
yeah.
finding a bit of extra time.
I haven't seen anybody whose first name and surname I know since March the 6th. I haven't
That's
left my
crazy.
flat for any reason other than to buy food at the supermarket since March the 6th. And I go
That's
out
mad.
every 10 to 14 days. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm getting very familiar with my neighbours' taste in music.
We did our house move under lockdown.
Oh,
so
yeah.
was,
Yeah, how was that?
That was crazy. Oh, that was just not fun at all. Because, we'd started the process and we got halfway through it. And then it was just like, oh, no, you're locked down. But we still had to carry on. But everybody else who was going to help just couldn't. So we just ended up, me and my wife, trying to move a house and look after our daughter. So, yeah, I have to say, 2020 has been utterly shit so far.
It's been absolutely fucking terrible. I had so many plans for this. Like, I finally got a pretty decently paying job. I had a whole load of traveling I was going to do. I actually still need to get refunds on plane tickets to New York and back, and a separate mini trip within the US that I paid for. I think I paid for all of those tickets approximately 1 week before lockdown was announced. And like Trump shut the borders to the US. So that's not happening. Yeah, I had so many things I was going to do. I still do the same type of work as I used to do. I have been directing a lot of people via Skype.
Fair.
And they still find me a lot of things to edit, funnily enough.
That's good.
Yeah.
Keep him busy though. I mean, I've pretty much, been having family time, which has been great, and spending time with my daughter and my wife and looking after my daughter. It's been great. So,
And I guess you kind of have to look at the silver lining there, because there'll be so many. If this was a normal year, you'd be one of the so many parents who would just be going to work every day and not spending this quality time with your family.
Exactly. Yeah. So I feel like there's been a definite bonus to the lockdown for us. But
I don't know. I don't know if I'm missing human contact so much, but I really wish I still had a cat.
Right, nice. Yeah. No, I have to say I'm not that fussed about human contact particularly. I know my wife struggles with that sort of thing more, and my daughter definitely does as well. She's really missing her school and her friends.
And they both had enough of you.
Yeah.
So they locked you in this room and made you talk to me for an hour.
Yeah, that's fine.
Things you might hear during this recording and any subsequent recordings. My neighbours downstairs like to play music quite loud. My neighbour upstairs does an hour's workout every day quite loudly. There is somebody frequently does DIY nearby.
Right.
That some piece of furniture is being put together in another flat in this building, and there's a mouse in the wall that adjoins this flat to the building next door. And it sounds like it's playing Yahtzee. It sounds like it's rolling dice around all the time.
Nice.
Yeah, so those are the...
I have no idea if you'll hear any extraneous noises from this house. We'll just have to see.
Hopefully the web ladies are sleeping.
Yeah, to be fine.
Another reason we decided to do this is because it turned out we both owned the same film and had never seen it.
Yes.
So we thought, why don't we... beat a dead horse, resurrect an old zombie, and talk about it and release that to the public. And that kind of ballooned into, I think we should be straight up front. This is not going to be a run of 135 episodes, or like a never-ending series. We've decided to do a short season of 10 episodes. We know what the first film is. We know what the last film is. Things in the middle are a bit, they are, two pictures per week, the way as it used to be. Yeah.
I think it's a good way to start.
I think so too. And if this one's crap, you'll never get to see it or hear it. Because I'll be buggered if I can remember how to do this.
Yeah, we should probably start talking about a film.
Yeah, we should. So the film, and my circle of school friends will probably disown me when they hear this. Neither of us had ever seen Time Bandits from start to finish.
Nope. I'd never seen it at all.
You've not seen any of it?
I thought I had.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure. I was like, I'm sure I've seen bits of it. Sure, I have. And I think I might have seen stills from it, and I kind of obviously knew the premise.
Yeah.
But I think what I thought I'd seen was actually The Adventures of Baron Munchausen.
And I don't think I've seen that start to finish either. I've seen some of it.
I remember, I'm pretty certain I've watched it. I'm pretty certain I didn't really get into it. I didn't really like it that much. So when we were talking about doing this, I was kind of like, oh, I think I might have seen a bit. I'm not sure I'm going to like it, but we'll see. And it turned out as I was watching it that I'm pretty sure I haven't seen any of this before.
So, what is the premise of Time Bandits?
Do you want me to do that? Or are you gonna do that?
Yeah, I do. You can do some bloody work on this show.
Okay, well, the premise of Time Bandits is there's a young boy who lives with his parents. His parents are very technology obsessed, particularly with kitchen utilities, and they're very much keeping up with the Joneses and want the best and the latest and the newest thing. But he's often off in not really a fantasy land, but he loves history, so it's lots of things about the Greeks and the Romans, and and it's like he's fascinated by big events within history. And one night a load of little people rock up and essentially kidnap him through time. It's sort of like Bill and
I was
Ted.
going to say one night 6 short lads fall out of his wardrobe.
Yeah, pretty much. It kind of reminded me a lot of Bill and Ted in that kind of, it's set up that you're jumping through time and space and going on this wacky adventure, and it's good versus evil. Ultimately, there's the supreme being, and there's the
evil genius. He's
evil genius,
as is the
pure
the
evil.
force of darkness.
Brilliantly played by David Warner, and it's kind of fairy tale-esque, I think, and very Terry Gilliam, kind of what I would expect.
It is. It's interesting. It seemed to me it was caught in between Madcap Python Gilliam and proper filmmaker Gilliam.
I was going to say, I think that might be down to the fact the script was written by Michael Palin and Terry Gilliam.
Yes, it might be. So one of the things that's happened since we've been gone is we did Lost in La Mancha as part of the original series. Terry Gilliam has finally got his Don Quixote movie made and released.
Yeah. I haven't seen
it. It was finally released early this year, and then when everybody went into lockdown.
Yeah, I haven't seen. I don't think I've even seen a trailer from it. I think I've seen some stills and stuff like that.
There was a trailer released, I think, in Italian.
Right.
I've definitely seen a trailer with another language on it.
Right.
Yeah. What did I put? So okay, hang on. I'm going off on a tangent, but I made some quick notes. So. Of the stuff we originally did, 5 of those properties have been turned into TV shows.
Oh, wow.
Westworld, What We Do in the Shadows, The Punisher, Time After Time, and there's now an American miniseries remake of Das Boot.
Wow, okay.
The Intouchables got an American remake.
Yeah.
Terry Gilliam got his Don Quixote movie made and released. The guy who made Beyond the Black Rainbow found critical acclaim and success with Mandy starring Nicolas Cage, and the Howard the Duck character is now officially part of the MCU.
We were trendsetters. Just that's all.
We were.
Everyone listening to our podcast going, "Oh, we should revive all these properties." That's what it was. Clearly.
Exactly. I wish they'd listened to us rather than doing that, because we did not need Howard the Duck.
No. What? So. Going back to Time Bandits, what was your overall reaction to it? Did you like it, or were you?
I liked some of it. I thought it was a bunch of ideas in search of a story and b, a budget.
Okay, yeah, it's interesting you say that. The budget was $5 million.
Yeah.
Which is not a lot of money.
5,000 does it look like? 5 million. Well, 5 million in 1981 is much more than 5 million is in 2020.
Yeah, absolutely is. But I also would say that, when you look at Terry Gilliam's production design, like every penny of that is on the screen to varying degrees of success in terms of how it looks. But like all of his, like any of his movies, all of the money seems to go pushing all the production design, and it's it seems to me that no matter what movie he's making, it's always a struggle to get it made, and he's never got as much money as he needs for his vision. And he's one of those filmmakers I lump in that class of, I'm not sure I necessarily like the films that he makes, but I like the fact that he's out there making those films. Does that make sense?
I understand that. Yeah,
a bit like David Lynch. So I don't really like a lot of his movies, but I like the fact that there's someone out there that can make those movies. But someone like
that should have the freedom to put their ideas out.
Exactly, yeah. And I have to say, out of all of the Gilliam stuff I've seen, this is probably one that I like, possibly the most. Aside, ignoring Python movies. I wouldn't say I loved it, but I enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
Is my favourite. Off the top of my head. But I'm a time travel geek.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that, and I remember enjoying it. I can't remember. I don't know if I watched it back now whether I would like it as much as I did. I think the one that I sort of revere the most is Fisher King. I think that seems to be the one that is everything that Gilliam should be. Like it's got that. He's got that fantasy element, but he's also got this gritty realist side to it, and it's got this exploration of a real human condition in it. So I think that's the one that I like the most. But I was surprised that I enjoyed this.
Yeah, I've seen Fisher King once, and I remember liking it, but it's something I've meant to watch again and never got around to.
Yeah, it's kind of a movie you need to be in the right frame of mind to watch. I think it's a definite kind of.
Quite possibly, yeah.
Yeah, you've got to. It's not something you're just going to stick on for fun.
No, I guess not. All right, we should make our way through Time Bandits.
Yeah, I'm not sure I could do it chronologically.
Well, I kind of. I mean, I slapped down notes as I went along. I started with it's the only time you'll ever see John Cleese get billed above Sean Connery. Thank God for the alphabet.
Yes, yeah, I noticed that, and I was just like, huh? And because I
most of the big names in this are only in it for 2 or 3 scenes.
Yeah, they're cameos essentially.
Yeah.
There's John Cleese, Sean Connery, Ian Holm. They're kind of the sort of big names at the front, and like you say, it's all in alphabetical order, and you're kind of thinking, oh wow, I didn't realise that they were in it so much, and then they're just not. So you kind of,
No, John Cleese has one scene, doesn't he?
Yeah. And do you know what? I think that might be my favourite scene. Just him as Robin Hood.
It is very good. I like it. Yeah, he's essentially playing Robin Hood as like a minor royal.
Yes, yeah. I think he was based on some footage of the Duke of Kent congratulating footballers at a football match when he had zero interest in football.
Yes.
And I think they found some footage of him and the way he weighed his way along the line. And yeah, I thought that was really, really funny.
Yeah. That whole redistribution of wealth scene is hilarious.
Yeah. So I did like that. And also, I noticed that one of the filming locations was Epping Forest, which is very close to where I grew up. And I wondered if they filmed some of that there. But yeah, it's just that I think that I really enjoyed. And I thought Connery was good.
Yeah, he was fine. I like Michael Palin actually.
Yes.
And I wish they'd made more of a running joke out of him and his lover appearing in various time periods. Yeah,
I feel like there probably was, and things, because I know there was a futuristic scene that got cut for budget reasons, and I think there might have been a couple of other bits and pieces that were cut, and I imagine that they were. Might have been cold, but yeah, you're right. I expected that to be a much more of a running gag. I thought that was very funny.
Him screaming, "I must have fruit," had me roaring with laughter.
Yeah. I was trying to think whether this would have been something I would have liked as a kid.
I was trying to think that too. I was trying to work out what the audience for this is.
Yeah, because it's quite Roald Dahl-esque in it's slightly fairy tale-y. It's quite dark.
It's for kids who like creepy things.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, and there's just some dark twists and turns in it, and dark elements, and I feel like I would have enjoyed bits of it, but other bits I wouldn't have quite liked. So I'm not sure. It's the sort of thing I might have watched a couple of times as a kid, but it wouldn't have been like a movie on a VHS in constant rotation, like
You see,
Back to the Future or Ghostbusters.
I know people who love this.
I can see why.
But I was kind of, I don't know, I like some of it. So I like, the central premise is great. A gang of would-be thieves use a map of holes in the fabric of the universe to jump through time and commit heists. You could make a great grown-up thriller out of that, a proper sci-fi movie.
The other thing I was going to say, what I love about that is the premise of it is, even though it's a very complicated thing, fabric of space, time travel, and essentially jumping through space as well as time, but they don't even really explain that. It's just like, we have a map, there are the doors, we go through them, we're somewhere else. And it's as simple as that, and it doesn't get bogged down in all of that sort of science or supernatural element. And I like that. Is they just keep it really, you just like, okay, and you just accept it and go with it. You know?
Yeah, and that part of it makes, for what it is, makes a lot of sense.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, very much so.
I did wonder why this was a PG and then a firing squad appeared on my screen.
Yes. Those were the bits I was just like, oh, okay. But then, you think back to like the original cuts of things like Indiana Jones and Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, all that kind of stuff.
The MPAA has always had the Spielberg rule.
Yeah.
Like, Spielberg can get away with more than everybody else.
Yeah, that's true.
So I definitely remember seeing, over the years or as a kid, the dwarves pushing the kids' wall back. I remember that. And then the face of the Supreme Being chasing them down the corridor.
Right, yeah.
And incidentally, that effect of the Supreme Being's face is still pretty good for today.
Yeah. Yeah, I think...
this enormous glowing face.
Yeah. Again, I think that for a film of its time, it stands up pretty well in terms of that element of it, like the effects and the visuals, because Gilliam is such a visual director. Like, there is
some almost good stop motion towards the end where the gang are approaching Evil's castle, and the figures walking along the bridge aren't actually people.
Right,
they're little stop motion blobs.
Right, okay, yeah.
And you only notice if you really look at it. It's very clever.
Yeah, and there's some incredible like matte paintings and all sorts of stuff in there. And I like that building has so that a lot of that final scene, the building is made of elements that you will have seen in Kevin's bedroom at the start. So there's like Lego bricks, and
that didn't really occur to me until we cut back to the bedroom.
Yeah.
And one of my notes is, why the hell are there giant Lego bricks in Evil's castle?
Yeah. So I thought that was quite nice, and it kind of makes it a bit more. Is it a dream reality or a fantasy rather than actual time travel? Which is it blurs that line. And gets
especially
away
when
with
Sean Connery turns up again at the end after being Agamemnon in the Greece scene, then shows up as a fireman at the end.
Yeah, and presumably the same person, because he gives Kevin a wink and that kind of stuff. So I was quite surprised that I was kind of thinking, oh well, maybe he'll just take him in and become his dad, because that was what was. In ancient Greece, that was what was going to happen. He makes Kevin his son, and it was like, I thought that would be a nice, neat little ending, but he just leaves him there, and I was just be like, oh, okay.
The ending was one of the things I had a problem with.
Yeah.
Your happy ending is a kid's house burning down and watching his parents explode right in front of him.
Yeah, and apparently,
and then everybody abandons him.
Yeah, that's the same. And
what the fuck was that?
I was just like,
oh, this is after. Hold on, literal Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah.
Where the heroes don't even defeat the villain. God appears and kills the villain, and that's it.
Yeah.
What?
And when he turns up, like when God turns up, Kevin asks him, why did everyone have to die? Like, why did all these people have to die? And God just doesn't really give a shit. He's just like, well, and it's just like collateral damage. And it was just like, oh, okay, that's interesting. So, I quite like the fact that they weren't portraying a god as this benign, benevolent being.
Yeah.
He was just like, I'm busy. I'm trying to get this entire universe to work. I don't care about the minutiae of a few people dying.
Yeah.
You know, so I kind of quite like that element of it. But you're right, it is just a bit like, oh, God turns up and defeats everyone, and then the parents dying. I was just like, oh, okay, and that's why I thought, oh, he's going to get to be taken in by Sean Connery. He'll care for him, and that doesn't happen either. And I was just like, oh.
No, he's just an orphan left standing on his front lawn with everybody either dead or leaving him.
Yeah.
Like, that's a pretty downer ending.
Yeah, it really was, yeah. It's interesting. I do wonder what kids would make of it watching it now. If you like someone around like 8, 9, 10, whether they'd get into it or not.
Yeah. So that kid who played Kevin, I looked him up. He only did one other movie.
Right.
2 years after this one.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that's it. And then there was no more. Did no more acting. Also, he was rubbish.
I thought he was fine. He wasn't, he wasn't the worst child actor I've seen. Wasn't the best either.
No.
But I think it's a tricky. I mean, he was leading that movie to an extent. It's a tricky thing for him to pull off, really. And he wasn't an actor.
So. No, he was. I think
his brother went to the audition.
Oh, really?
That's what I read.
I think he was either 11 or 12 at the time as well.
And
having not done anything before, right?
No, so his brother was auditioning for it, and he just happened to be there.
Wow.
And Gilliam liked his attitude because he just wasn't overly fazed by it until he met Sean Connery, and then he got really kind of starstruck apparently. But as you
but we met Sean Connery, and it was a bit difficult to stay composed when he just appears in front of you.
Yeah. That man has presence, even at the age of 80, whatever it was when we saw him.
Yeah. I like David Warner a lot, and I actually quite like the character of the evil genius. Like, I like his obsession with technology. There's a great bit where one of his underlings is like, "What do you want to have understanding of, Master?" And he just goes, "Digital watches."
My favourite quote from him is, "Dear Benson, you are so mercifully free of the ravages of intelligence."
Yes.
I thought that was really good.
I think we just start saying things like 43 species of parrot, nipples for men.
Yeah, I thought he was great. And because, one of my favourite all-time movies as a kid growing up was Tron. And he's very similar in that, like he's the big bad guy. And so he's always been that kind of British villain to me. It's
really funny because he famously hates sci-fi and fantasy.
I can imagine.
But it's all he gets cast in.
Yeah. No, I like David Warner a lot.
Yeah. He has these things towards the end. So he's got his regular band of lackeys. Why do all movie villains have dumb lackeys? They don't employ anybody intelligent. They're always stupid. And his gang are particularly dumb. Yeah. But he has these like giant cattle skull Death Eater things with hook hands.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they're the stuff of nightmares.
I know. See, that's the point where I'm like, okay, now that would have terrified me as a child. So this wouldn't be for me as a kid. And then there's other bits where I'm like, oh, I would have loved that. So that's why I'm still not sure who it's for, really.
He also has some very weird defense mechanisms, like a knife on a mechanical arm that comes out of his head.
Yeah.
Actually, that effect is done really well.
Yeah, there's some of that stuff is really good. Again, it's Terry Gilliam's brain, right? It's just bonkers.
He does prove in the final scene, though, that he can't do action even back in 1981. It was that final battle was just horrible to watch. The other person I quite liked was Ian Holm as Napoleon.
Yeah,
they are all freaks. None of them are under 5'6".
I read a thing that Terry Gilliam had to remove himself from set when Ian Holm was doing some of his scenes because he just found it too funny, and he was just bleeding all over the sound because he was laughing so loudly and so hard.
He is really good.
Yeah, very, very good. Yeah.
One of the gags that also made me laugh was like Napoleon wants to applaud, but he's only got one arm. So one of his aides offers up an extra hand for him to clap against.
Yeah. There are some really good little sight gags and just little one-liners and stuff.
Again, it's a bunch of ideas that for me just didn't pull together as a story.
Which, I mean, look at any Monty Python movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Even Life of Brian has those elements of segments to it.
What I always forget about Life of Brian is that Brian gets in a rocket and it becomes an animated sequence for 10 minutes. Part of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think of those, Holy Grail holds together the best.
Yeah, I think that was always my favourite. I think.
Yeah.
Holy Grail.
Yeah, I think so too.
I always like that one best. I think there's some excellent bits in Life of Brian, but I always preferred Holy Grail. Yeah.
Got any other nuggets to add?
Not really. It was one of those movies that I was just like, yeah, it's all right. Which, you know,
I'm glad I've seen it. I
Yeah.
don't know when I'm ever going to watch it again.
You know.
It's filled a gap in my film history,
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
but I
feel
don't
like
feel the need to revisit
we're
it.
starting season 2 with a bang of,
In with a whimper, that's what we like.
exactly. Yeah. 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 So, you know, yeah, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. Put it that way.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Should we do pitches?
Yeah. If you want to.
Yeah.
That's generally how the show works.
Yeah. Now, some may think this is a bit of a setup when they find out what the pitches are for the next episode. I am pitching Tom About Time, which is a film I really enjoy. I don't remember when I first saw it. This might have been one of my rare trips to the cinema.
Oh, yeah.
This film, I have seen it 4 or 5 times,
Right.
and every time I see something else in it that I haven't seen before,
Oh, okay.
and I just find it's time travel, which is my favourite sci-fi genre, but this is a really rare thing. It is a sci-fi time travel film that has no sci in it.
Okay. All right.
There is no science to the time travel in this movie.
Okay, interesting. I've always, I mean, obviously, I think I saw a trailer for it when it first came out. I have a feeling I might have filmed the premiere for it.
Right. One of us probably did.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure but I just kind of dismissed it as a Richard Curtis rom-com. And
I kind of
he
did too.
kind of chucked in the time travel element just to make it different from every other Richard Curtis rom-com. Yeah,
It's very Richard Curtis. It's a bunch of posh people being amusingly posh.
Okay.
But it's also full of heart and great performances. And the other rarity about this is everybody on the screen has tremendous chemistry with everybody else they interact with.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
It's amazingly cast.
Right.
So the premise is, shortly after he turns 21, Tim's dad sits him down and tells him the family secret. With some caveats, all of the men in the family have the ability to travel back in time.
Right.
And Tim decides to use his version of it to get himself a girlfriend.
Okay. Fair enough.
Tim is played by Donald Gleason, who is always good value for money.
Yeah.
We saw him in Ex Machina back in season 1.
Yeah.
Tim's dad is played by Bill Nighy.
He's always good.
Yes, he's always good. Who else turns up in this? Tom Hollander, Rachel McAdams, and in an early role, Margot Robbie.
Right. Okay.
What do I like about it? I love the writing of it. I do have some problems with it, but we'll discuss that next week.
Okay.
But overall, I am a cold-hearted son of a bitch, and this warms that little piece of black coal in my chest.
It's funny. I'll be honest. I would usually just completely dismiss this movie.
Okay.
I'm not a massive Richard Curtis fan. I'm not a massive.
Neither am I. I think this is the only Richard Curtis film I've seen start to finish. I've never seen. Oh God, name some others. What's the stupid one? The Christmas. Never seen that all the way through.
Love Actually.
Never seen that all the way through.
I saw that in the cinema. That was weird, but they're not good. And Notting Hill.
Never seen that.
No, I haven't either. But so when you pitch me a rom-com, I'm always like, okay, there must be something special about this. So, yeah, you've piqued my interest.
Unromantic bastard.
Well, exactly. Yes. Yeah. Quite clearly.
Yeah.
You know?
It takes a lot to impress me when it comes to romantic comedies.
Well,
I mean,
but looking back at
When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah, but looking back at season 1, a lot of the rom-coms you pitched me ended up becoming some of my favourite films that we covered. Like Shall We Dance To is right up there. So
I think that is probably overall the best film we covered throughout our first 135 episodes in terms of our both of our reactions to it.
yeah, definitely one of, yeah.
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 I keep meaning to watch that again, actually.
Yeah.
I probably haven't seen it since we covered it on the show.
No.
About 6 years ago.
No, I need to watch it again. I do need to watch it
Yeah.
again. Yeah. So
I don't know how much else I have to add to the pitch.
No.
Like that's it. Like
No.
it is a romantic comedy,
Yeah.
and it is a science fiction time travel film.
yeah. So
But not in the way you're expecting, I think.
yeah, well, I know. Yeah. That's kind of. Do you know what I would have thought? It would be exactly what I'm thinking, but because you've pitched it, I'm like, okay, there must be more to this. There must be more to it than what I think it is. So we'll see. So you've covered off time.
Yeah.
I'm going to cover off the other half of this title with a movie that I cannot believe you have never seen. I cannot believe you've never seen Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah, this is doubly unbelievable because I've had your DVD of it for at least 5 years.
I know, and I just like. It's not even a movie that I think you're gonna love. Like, I mean, you might hate it. I just can't believe you haven't seen it. And it's just because, you know, when we were growing up, movies like that, I'm sure that one day at my flat in college, you and I had a conversation about Hal Needham movies.
We may well have done. So I know I have seen some or all of a Smokey and the Bandit film. I just don't think it's the first one.
Okay.
I have definitely seen some or all of Smokey and the Bandit 3 when I was a child, and I was massively confused by the concept of a fake bandit.
Okay, right, yes. Yeah, out of context, that makes
Because it's
sense.
not because it's not Burt Reynolds
No.
until the very end of that film, is it?
No.
And that's the only bit I remember is like it's not Burt Reynolds, and then Burt Reynolds shows up, and then that's the end.
Okay, fair enough.
And there's some car chases.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, Smokey and the Bandit is essentially just an hour and a half episode of the Dukes of Hazzard before the Dukes of Hazzard existed.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you that it's an amazing film. It's a fun movie. It's
77.
yeah.
Something
There's
like that,
an
76,
interesting fact about it, which I'll tell you next week.
All right.
But it's one of those. It's just a fun movie. There's car chases. There's a bit of romance to it, so it's kind of a rom-com as well. The basic plot of the movie is two guys who think they're the big thing, a father and son team, Big Enos and Little Enos. Basically they're just showing off. They've got a horse running in a horse race, and they plan on winning that horse race, and they want to celebrate, so they need 400 cases of beer. But when you're in Georgia and you want to show off how wealthy you are, you want Coors, because Coors wasn't sold in Atlanta. It wasn't allowed to be because apparently it was unpasteurized, and it was illegal to sell Coors in certain states of America.
I have been to Atlanta.
Yep.
It's an odd place.
Yes.
You cannot buy Pepsi anywhere in Atlanta.
of course
it's
not.
a Coca-Cola town.
And so what they do, they get the bandit, who is a man who is just ego and charm in equal measures. And they say to him, you've got 28 hours to drive to, what's the name? Texarkana in Texas, pick up 400 cases of beer and bring them back. I don't think they ever actually mention how far it is to go, but it's obviously that it shouldn't be able to do it in a rig.
If I wasn't scared of eating up all the bandwidth, I'd get on Google Maps right now.
Yeah, fine. So he basically has a truck, and then the premise is his mate Cletus drives the truck, and Bandit gets in a V8 Trans Am, and he runs blocker, and essentially his job is to make sure the police are distracted away from the beer so that they don't get caught. And it's as simple as that. Go there, come back, done.
So, like, run as many red lights as you can. If you see a cop, run red lights, like, annoy him, give him the finger, show him your bum.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Just keep
drive
him away
like a
from the
lunatic.
truck.
And, and I grew up watching shows like Dukes of Hazzard and Knight Rider and 18 and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the Cars the Star type shows.
Exactly, and I love
all of those
stuff.
shows in the 80s had a signature vehicle, even going back as far as Starsky and Hutch.
Exactly, yeah, Starsky and Hutch, another one, and then obviously movies like Cannonball Run and Smokey and the Bandit, where it's just car chases and that kind of stuff. So for me, hearing a roaring V8 engine with screeching tyres and manic banjo music over the top is just sensory transportation back to my childhood. So yeah, it's just a fun movie, and we should talk about it because, why not?
Well, all right. Would you like 5 minutes of floor time to talk about the easy bit?
Oh yeah, sure. Why not?
I mean, you've got to have you've been interviewed all over the place. You've got to have a sales pitch like down pat by now.
Pretty much. Yeah, I guess. So whilst we've been off air, one of the projects I've been working on is a feature-length documentary. My first feature-length documentary, in fact. And it's about what it's like for men to go through fertility treatment. So it's kind of a taboo subject. It's not something that many people talk about, and it's very rare for men to talk about something like this. So it kind of explores what it's like for a man to find out that he might not be able to conceive a child naturally, and then it follows through the process of how you go through a round of fertility treatment from start to end. And it follows 6 guys, and they all talk about what it's like, and they literally just talk straight to camera, openly and honestly about it. And it's just been released in April on. It's currently on for rental on Vimeo on demand.
There we go. I don't think I've seen the final version. I've seen 2 cuts of it, and again, it affected the black lump of coal in my. I don't care about children. I don't want children ever. They repulse me. But yeah, it's very affecting. I'm not saying this because I'm like it's my friend's film. Like it's a really affecting and interesting documentary about a subject I have no interest in.
Well, that's good to hear. I've had a lot of feedback from people who have been through it, and also like clinicians who treat people with infertility and stuff like that. And it's been quite eye opening for a lot of people, I think. So I'm really pleased with that. And yeah, it's available for people to go and watch. It's called The Easy Bit, for reasons that will become apparent if you watch the movie. And Vimeo on demand. So
there we go. I realise I should have written down the actual plugs I need to do for this show.
Oh, yeah.
But I have not. So I'm going to have to do it all from memory. This is how much the world has changed since we started doing this. We used to do this in a soundproof studio. We used to need someone to help us get it on the internet. And we had no way of doing video. And now we are live video chatting with each other and recording better quality video that we can cut together with no need for a studio, and it's completely free and incredibly easy for us now to get this online. It's been a big which was unthinkable. It was unthinkable when we started and almost unthinkable when we finished.
Well, we record. I know that I think they were released in 2011, but we recorded the first shows in 2010, so like a decade ago.
Oh God.
Yeah, because we recorded a bunch before Christmas, and I think we launched them. Maybe the first ones went out December. But yeah. So it's been 10 years since we did the original first few episodes.
So Lord.
Yeah.
Close enough. Yeah. So I believe the speech should go something like, "If you have seen About Time or
Smoking the Bandit."
Thank you very much. That used to happen every week as well. I forget one of the film names. If you have seen About Time or Smokey and the Bandit, you can send us your reviews to. You can do it on Twitter. We are at HYS Podcast. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/haveyouseenpodcast. And we have an email address, which I believe is hyspodcast@gmail.com.
We're also at HYS Podcast on Instagram now.
Oh, yes, that's a new thing that he set up. He has set up because I am a Luddite and do not understand Instagram.
It's just
I think that's all we need to plug. We don't need to plug a social media. Thank a social media manager anymore. We don't need to thank a studio technician anymore or someone to get it on the internet. Like it's just us now.
Yep.
There's nobody to rein us in.
No, not at all.
So I guess we will see each other, and we will see you next week when we talk about Time and Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.